Welcome back. Here's another little strategy to help you 10x your impact, if not your income. And it is how to create content quickly to go from, I have an idea, to impact, or better yet, income. I know you're going to like what we're talking about. It's simple for you to implement. Let's jump into it. Step number one is that you set a deadline. Even my 15-year-old daughter will get her homework done just in time when it's required, or to prepare for the test. We're helping people with books. This is one of the most important things, is to set when is it going to be released. This means pull out your calendar and decide when it's going to be done. And step number two is to go ahead and decide. Like, you need to decide where you're going to put this content. Are you putting it on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or wherever? Is it for a keynote? How are you trying to get this done so that you know where you're going to use it and how else you're going to use it? Is there a way for you to multi-purpose this content? Are you creating this content for leads so that you can get somebody to join what you're doing? Two, are you creating content to help you make the sale and nurture someone? Or are you creating content that you're trying to create for your course, or content or something that you're using to serve your customers? So I've got a couple examples for you. When I was writing my first book, I decided to teach a webinar that I could use to create new leads and turn that webinar that I might be able to make some sales on as well into the content for my book. So I decided where I was going to teach it, how I was going to use it, and then I was able to multi-purpose it. I had a friend of mine who was visiting me one time, and his name is Steve Naplaton, and he was coming over to my house. That's also my wife right there. And he was coming over to visit, and I said, hey, brother, why don't you spend the night and let's create a piece of content that we can give to our clients to fulfill on a promise. Like, what is a gap that we can go ahead and fill by creating a course and potentially a book while you're here? So literally, we had a brainstorming session on day one, and then we created the content on day two. That was one piece of content we created quickly. It went into a course, got turned into this book. It is how we were going to use it. Now, step number three is to define the steps of your protocol. And how do you do that? Well, you need to figure out the 1, 2, 3, the recipe for how do you begin, what's the beginning, middle, and end, and what are the steps in between. If you look at the poster I have behind me, we've got steps of marketing your book. So what is that content? And at the same time, I'm going to challenge you to not teach content and make a point unless you tell a story as well. So what are the stories that you're going to tell? This is the brainstorming time of what are the stories you're going to use as evidence to prove your content. Notice the examples that I gave you today, even when I brought up my 15-year-old daughter, if you remember from before. Okay, now the last thing here, and this is step number 4, is to just do it. Like, dare to suck, rip it. And I'll give you an example. When I was preparing for today's piece of content for you, I wrote down my ideas on a sticky tab. So write down your ideas, make it nice and simple, and go out there and dare to suck. You don't have to be perfect. You just want to make progress and get it done. I hope you value that. This is how to create content quickly, and I planted a little seed in there of how you can multi-purpose content and turn something into not just leads, but helping you make sales, maybe even fulfill on your promises with the client. I wait to see you on the next one.